In 2024, Max Verstappen has found himself at the center of intense criticism, especially from the British media, with significant attention drawn to his recent penalties following races in Austin and Mexico. His on-track behavior, particularly in comparison with Lando Norris's incidents, has ignited discussions across the Formula One world. Verstappen believes that his nationality plays a crucial role in how he's perceived and has boldly called out the FIA for their actions. This scrutiny coincides with looming rule changes expected to take effect in Brazil, along with a 5-place grid penalty for taking a new internal combustion engine. The big question now is, will these developments influence how Verstappen approaches his races, particularly against Norris? If he remains steadfast in his aggressive tactics, could more penalties from the FIA be inevitable? It's no secret that tensions between Verstappen and the FIA have simmered since Baku, fueled further by ongoing controversies like the infamous swearing incident. Despite the controversies, the racing in Mexico and Austin showcased Verstappen's unwavering determination, even if it meant taking risks that could jeopardize another driver's position. His approach, aimed at securing a lead over Norris before the season finale in Abu Dhabi, has been met with sharp criticism. The FIA and British media have repeatedly condemned his tactics, with F1 steward Johnny Herbert emphasizing that such behavior would not be tolerated under his oversight. Speaking about the penalties in Mexico, Herbert mentioned that they wouldn't deter Verstappen from potentially pushing Norris off track in future events. He remarked, "The intention behind Verstappen's moves was clear, trying to give Ferrari an edge for a 1-2 finish. While I can understand his reasoning, I can't condone it." This sentiment isn't unique. Many in the F1 community disapprove when Verstappen resorts to such aggressive maneuvers, suggesting that he needs to race cleaner and rely on skill alone, rather than risking other drivers' positions to achieve victory. The British media echoed Herbert's sentiments, with figures like Damon Hill openly criticizing the 3-time world champions team. Hill pointed out that Red Bull has rarely, if ever, stepped in to challenge or correct Verstappen's racing style, which further fuels this contentious narrative. He cited past instances such as the Austrian Grand Prix, where Zak Brown expressed disgust at how Max was encouraged against Norris. This situation has only intensified, leading to a consensus among drivers that something needs to be adjusted sooner rather than later. Meetings have been held where the majority agreed that changes were necessary, which highlights that even beyond the FIA and media, Verstappen's peers are concerned about his actions. George Russell commented on this dynamic, noting that the stewards were aligned with the urgency for change. He mentioned, "The most significant debate has been around waiting until 2025 for consistency, but 19 out of 20 drivers said if it's right, implement it now. I'm pleased those incidents were penalized." Russell's remarks underscored the unity among drivers, emphasizing that what happened in Mexico and Austin shouldn't be allowed to continue unpunished. This shared stance adds pressure on Verstappen, who maintains that criticism is inevitable for someone who dominates the sport. He explained that after an ideal season, critics jump at any chance to speak out when opportunities arise. He implied that his nationality plays a significant role, adding, "I have the wrong passport for this paddock." This pointed statement hinted that if he were of British descent, handling such situations might be easier. The topic of biased treatment from the FIA has been a recurring theme, with Fernando Alonso also voicing concerns during the 2024 season. However, Verstappen's situation carries greater weight due to its implications for the championship race. The accusations directed at him, particularly those about purposefully forcing another driver off track in Turn 7 during the Mexico GP, are serious. Verstappen called these claims extreme, stating, "It was hard racing. Sure, I admit that if I hadn't passed Norris by Turn 7, his chances of winning would have been higher given the MCL3.8's pace." This admission subtly confirmed the strategic intent behind his moves. When discussing Herbert's accusations, Verstappen, who will face Herbert as a steward again in Brazil, defended himself by saying, "I didn't do anything on purpose. They can't read my mind. It's a severe accusation, but we raced hard. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Every situation is unique. It's easy to critique with hindsight. We just need a more competitive car to avoid being put in those positions." Even though opinions on Verstappen's actions in Turn 7 are divided, his behavior in Turn 4 showed his old, uncompromising racing style. He defended his inside line position, despite not having the advantage to make the move cleanly. Lando Norris shared that he had to swerve to avoid a collision, which ultimately cost him 2 positions. Whether this was fierce racing or unsportsmanlike behavior depends on perspective. Yet, as noted earlier, Damon Hill, an F1 pundit and the 1996 world champion, has repeatedly expressed his support for Norris and hasn't shied away from critiquing vaping. Publicly backing a favorite isn't unheard of in sports, but it can cast doubts on impartiality when criticizing the competitors. Hill commented that Red Bull, especially Christian Horner, never publicly critiques vaping. It's always a protective stance from Christian, Hill said, implying that the team's unwavering support could be seen as enabling Max's behavior. He added that while internal discussions within teams are normal, public acknowledgement of issues could promote change. Hill also drew comparisons between vaping and racing legends like Ayrton Senna, known for pushing boundaries, sometimes taking out rivals for an advantage, as seen in the infamous 1990 Japanese Grand Prix. This aggressive approach is a common trait among champions, whether Senna, Schumacher, or Hamilton. Even Vapin's father, Jos Vapin, acknowledged that changing the young driver's style to appease critics would be unlikely. He suggested the FIA should scrutinize its stewards for potential biases, especially those who might favor certain teams or drivers due to past affiliations. Jos remarked, "Max drives the way he needs to because the car isn't yet at its peak. He won't alter his approach just to satisfy a few stewards who disapprove." Despite this, most drivers in recent meetings have pushed for stricter guidelines, with 19 out of 20 supporting immediate action rather than waiting until 2025. All of these discussions indicate that Vapin will face significant scrutiny for the rest of the season as he battles to maintain his lead over Norris. The question remains, should Vapin adjust his strategy in light of the mounting pressure from the FIA, the media, and fellow drivers? And is there a coordinated effort against him led by these media sources? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're interested in more drama surrounding the potential changes at Red Bull involving Perez's seat, don't miss the video now showing on your screen. Thank you for watching this in-depth look at the complex dynamics of the current Formula One season. If you enjoyed this video and want to stay updated on all the twists and turns of motorsport, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us bring you the most comprehensive analysis and storytelling that keeps you on the edge of your seat. What do you think about Vapin's current challenges with the FIA, the media, and his racing peers? Do you believe he should change his approach, or is he right to defend his style in the face of criticism? And do you see any bias in how certain drivers are treated? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. We love hearing your take and engaging with your opinions. And before you go, don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos. We've got more intriguing stories lined up, from team dynamics to driver rivalries and potential shakeups within the grid. If you're curious about what's next for Perez and his future at Red Bull, make sure to check out the related video appearing on your screen now. Thanks again for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. Stay tuned, race fans, and keep the passion for speed alive.